what drew you to want to work on this show? I love the idea of it. It's kind of like a modern day, like treasure hunt kind of vibe. It's cool, and it's not something that I feel like viewers are seeing a lot.
No, it's quite nostalgic, isn't it? It's sort of reminiscent of shows that were perhaps shot in the 80s and 90s. Just, you've got Alejandro Amenabar behind the wheel, and so therefore it's spectacular, so beautifully shot and has all these twists and turns. And that's basically the reason why I was attracted to the project, because of Alejandro, because she is downright badass. She's
Right.
such a viper, and that's always a fun thing to play. And then, of course, you have these cats like Clark Peters and Stanley Tucci, who are just legends.
Legends.
So, yeah. So to get to work with these people, it's a no-brainer. It's a win-win, isn't it?
Totally. And
yeah.
I also think how cool that it was filmed all across Spain. I'm sure that's something that drew you to it as well. Like, that's another thing about it, that the fact that half of the show's in English, half of it's in Spanish, it's just so different. It's not something we see often. I feel like these like on Netflix recently, there's been a lot of like Money Heist and like Squid Game. These like international shows are super have become so popular. And so that was one of my next questions is do you think that this, like it being international and partially being in Spanish, you think that'll draw viewers to want to watch the show?
I mean, God, yeah. I mean, like Spanish is the second biggest language, so it's like second biggest language spoken in the world, something like that, I believe. And
yes, I think you're right.
Yeah, so it's I don't know why we haven't done it before, quite frankly. And now it takes people like Netflix, like Apple, like Amazon, like the major streamers like AMC to take the gamble and to create these programs with other languages apart from English.
Right.
As long as they're well shot, as long as the story's good, we, the viewer, we love them, we soak them up, and we get to an insight into other people's culture. So let's not be regurgitating the same stuff over and over again. And it's so nice that I think Netflix are one of the leaders in that, are taking the ball by the horns and kind of going, okay, right, let's invest money into, sorry, I can't think of anything but bunny ears, foreign context. Foreign to who? It's foreign to us, but it's not foreign to them. So, but let's diversify our programming, and it's paying off. It really is paying off. Like Squid Game. I mean the stuff that's coming out of Korea, right? And it's not like it's just suddenly been there. It's always been there, but now it's available to us, and now it has money. And
I also feel like it must bring, it's got to be bringing these countries together. You know what I mean? Like, how cool that Americans are just obsessed with the show as people in South Korea or Spain, or that's pretty awesome.
Exactly. It's exactly that. And the world is becoming smaller anyway. And I'm really hoping that we have far more productions that are using, many, many languages, not just Spanish and English, but all European languages. Let's really. You know what I want to see? I want to see a film that has Jamaican patois, and I want to be and because I'm
Make
Jamaican,
it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah. Let's make it happen, Grace.
Yes, you and me. We'll collab.
Okay.
What was the difference between working on this international film as opposed to other international films you've done? For example, I know The Haunting of Bly Manor was filmed in Vancouver, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So what was the difference between what was different between the two?
I mean, every sector is different, really, because it's, and that's the wonderful thing about this job is that you get to, I'm back in Vancouver right now, that you get to eat a whole new crew, a different cast, and so for that respect, it's different. And when I did a show called Foundation, it was a predominantly Irish crew. We'd go to these different countries, and then you'd have the local crew as well. So I guess you see the cultural differences, definitely food differences.
100%.
It's just every set has different temperature.
Right. Susan, your character, Susan, she's strong-willed, she's driven, she's this badass businesswoman. And from what I gauged, in a lot of scenes, she's often arguing with her male colleagues. And in this day and age, I was just wondering, do you think that's something that viewers are going to empathize with her? Do you think it's going to inspire them to speak up? What do you think that'll do for women like me?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I think that, the modern man is becoming slightly more aware of, what's it called, mansplaining and all that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
A gender pay gap. And so I hope that people are inspired to speak their truths and to be heard. But to be fair, I don't think Stan, I don't think that character listens to anybody.
Right.
But Susan is very, very determined to be heard. And she is, for the most part.
And I mean, you can't help but think that'll, as like a 21-year-old watching it struck a chord with me just thinking, because it's intimidating when you have like male bosses. It's intimidating being a female and feeling like you like recognizing that you have a voice that can be heard. And so I think that's cool that she's so determined. And I definitely think that'll strike a chord with a lot of women who watch it.
I really hope so, Grace. I would just say to any woman out there. So I had this thing, it was an ex-partner who said this to me: if it's right for you, if you're coming from a place of love, integrity, love, if it's right for you, it can't be wrong for anybody else. It just can't. And you just have to approach every situation, I think, in life like that, and just stick to your truth, right? Mm-hmm. But from a place of compassion. Right. And sometimes to be heard is to be silent.
Interesting.
Do you know what I mean?
Completely.
Yeah. God, that sounds so wanky, but yeah.
My last question for you is just, what do you want viewers to take away from the show? I know we've touched on this slightly with what we were just talking about, but if there's anything else that you want viewers to take away?
I think once they've sort of wrapped up, I think that love trumps all, because that's what it is. It's a love story. It's love of country, love of family, love of lovers, age and what have you, to take the risk, to take the chance, to be passionate, to follow one's dreams about what you believe in. And I hope that will empower them, but I'd also like them to take a real long, dark stare into history and really trying to investigate who are the heroes. Because sometimes the heroes are not the people that we're told are the heroes, but to really start to reevaluate what's written in our history books, what we're teaching our children in schools, and not just take things at face value. And this whole thing of separation, like the kingdom of Spain, vs America, vs this, it's all divisive. It's right. All divisive. Because the people at the top, like, shit where you're from, what color you are, what race you are, what gender you are, what your pronoun is. I don't give a shit. Right. All these things are divisive. And so I hope that it'll make people sort of just look a little bit deeper, really. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that message couldn't be needed now more than ever. So like, yeah. I hope that viewers do take that away from the show, because that's an amazing message. But anyway, that's all I have for you. Congratulations. Aww. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. I'm super inspired by you, and I'm sure many other women out there are. So.
Oh, thank you,
Grace. Congratulations.
Thank you.